One day, on the news, a doctor named Andrew from a hospital announces that pneumonia and respiratory infections decrease after the public receives a vaccine called C100. However, 1 month after the vaccination, people report flu-like symptoms returning. Just a few days later, the hospital fills with patients, and police and military officers patrol the streets due to public protests. The medical community is baffled. How does this new virus variant spread so fast in just 3 days? A CDC scientist, Dr. Judith, interviewed on live television, says they have not yet found the main source of the pandemic and do not know if this new flu variant spreads through the air. Therefore, the CDC and WHO still need time to study the virus. When the reporter presses for guidance for the public, Dr. Judith, with a worried expression, asks her daughter, Jessie, to find a safer place. At the same time, Jessie wakes up from a car accident and hears the news. Going back about 12 hours earlier, Jessie and her friends enjoy a night camping in the wilderness. The next morning, Jessie and her boyfriend wake up to screaming outside. Jessie's boyfriend sees another friend attacking his own girlfriend. He jumps in to help, but also gets attacked. When Jessie knocks her attacking friend down, unfortunately, her boyfriend becomes a victim. Jessie finds that their friend, Sarah, is still alive, so he rushes her toward the hospital. On the way, Jessie's phone has no signal, leaving him unable to contact the hospital. Sarah grows very cold and eventually loses consciousness, making Jessie panic. While trying to help her, Sarah regains consciousness. They see cars scattered everywhere, so they stop at a gas station. Jessie tells Sarah to wait in the car while she enters the convenience store. Unfortunately, the phone lines are down and all the drinks in the store are gone. Jessie does not notice that someone is watching her from a room. Suddenly, a siren blares. She rushes outside, but a passing police car does not stop. Moments later, a zombie emerges from the store. Sarah screams, calling Jessie. Panicked, Jessie jumps back into the car and speeds off. Sadly, their tire bursts, causing a crash. Moments later, Jessie regains consciousness, but Sarah does not move. A zombie tries to enter the car, and Sarah, now infected, rises and attacks Jessie. With no other choice, Jessie kills her. Another zombie attacks as Jessie tries to escape through the back door, but she manages to fend it off and flees. Sometime later, Jessie reaches the yard of a house and meets a child. But the child is a zombie, and Jessie runs again. When she knocks on the door with no answer, Jessie decides to enter. She slips on a blood puddle. Then one zombie starts to attack her. But Jessie fights long enough to stay alive and even kills the zombie. Moments later, a woman named Emma steps out of a room. She explains that she has been hiding since the night before because of the zombies. Emma says she came to this house to pick up her niece and sister, but her brother-in-law and niece are already zombies, and the sister she is looking for is nowhere to be found. Jesse is the first person Emma meets who is still normal. Emma invites Jesse to go to a restaurant where their other friends are gathered, but asks her to clean up first. After taking a shower, Jesse notices the zombie bite from the car attack. Emma sees the wound, and Jesse has to lie, saying the bite happened a day earlier. Emma wonders how Jesse survives the infection. Jesse simply explains that his mother, a scientist, always gave her injections when she was a child. Emma also mentions that none of their friends at the restaurant ever received the C-100 vaccine. After confirming Jesse never got the vaccine, Emma plans to take her to meet her mother. She asks Jesse not to tell anyone about the bite. That night, near the restaurant, they have to move quietly because the streets are full of zombies. Emma leads Jesse through a back alley, but it is also crowded with zombies. She throws a bottle to lure the zombies away. As they run toward the door, zombies chase them. But a young man named Mark opens the door, letting them escape safely. Inside, a man named Roy points a gun at Jesse. Emma explains that Jesse saved her. Roy says that from now on, no one can go in or out without his permission. Anyone who disobeys the rule may leave the restaurant. He orders Brandon to check Jesse's weapons, and after confirming Jesse is safe, they gather with the others. Emma introduces Jesse to the other survivors: Lucy, Roy's wife, an elderly couple, Martha and Fred, and Mark's younger sister, Grace. Roy warns Jesse if she shows any symptoms, she will be killed. All food supplies are distributed according to Roy's wishes, so they can survive longer, especially with Jesse there. Jesse tells them she will not stay long because she plans to try to return home to Atlanta. Knowing Atlanta is about 190 miles away, Brandon says traveling alone is like suicide. Better to starve there than be eaten by zombies. Suddenly, the TV broadcasts the news. The reporter says they cannot confirm how long the broadcast will continue. It may be the last one people can watch. She reports that the disease spreads through direct contact with the C-100 vaccine. Unfortunately, C-100, a mutation of a dead virus, has already been administered to millions. Everyone vaccinated will show symptoms in a time frame from 1 week to less than 24 hours. This means anyone vaccinated will get infected. Hearing this, Roy says the government always messes everything up, while Martha hopes the president will do something. Fred adds that the president also received the same vaccine, so everyone will face disaster. Suddenly, the power goes out. Roy orders Brandon and Mark to check the generator because he needs the refrigerator running to keep his insulin cold. Hearing this, Jesse offers to help. Once they step outside, they see only a few zombies lying around. Roy feels relieved and continues rambling while fixing the generator. Unfortunately, as soon as the generator starts, a zombie attacks from behind. Brandon manages to kill the zombie. Hearing the gunshot, Lucy panics and tries to leave, but Mark holds her back. Fred, meanwhile, wishes Roy would die soon. Outside, while Roy struggles with pain, Jesse takes the opportunity to grab the car keys from Roy's pocket. Seeing another zombie approaching, Jesse tells Brandon to come inside immediately. Sometime later, Mark approaches Jesse and asks her to take them along. Brandon insists on joining too. The next morning, they try to convince Lucy, but she refuses, saying Roy is gone. Fred decides to stay with Lucy, while Martha suddenly falls ill. After saying goodbye, they decide to leave. Fred shows that he has only 2 bullets left. Moments later, gunshots ring out. On the road, Emma spots a woman, her sister, Megan. Megan says that her husband has bitten their child. Slowly, Megan gets into the car and locks it. Her child, already turned into a zombie, is inside the car and then attacks her while they are powerless outside. Jesse urges Emma to move on. As the zombies draw near, their car fails to start. Emma, desperate, braces for the zombie attack. Jesse manages to fix the car and floors it, escaping the pursuing zombies. After a while, they reach a convenience store. Brandon gets out to collect food supplies, but gunshots ring out. Jesse and Mark rush in to find Brandon fighting off zombies. Jesse shoots the zombie, but it rises again. Brandon, realizing he is infected, orders them to leave. Other zombies swarm, but Jesse manages to get them out safely. On the road, they head toward Mark's uncle's home. Unexpectedly, the car breaks down, forcing them to continue on foot. Jesse spots zombies behind them and searches for a hiding spot. Up ahead, several zombies feed on their victims, so they take refuge in a truck. Seeing zombies approaching, Mark lures them into a cornfield. Once it is relatively safe, Jesse tries to take Grace with him, but zombies continue chasing. A man suddenly kills the pursuing zombies and invites them to shelter in a building. The man introduces himself as Ben Clayton and offers them drinks. Jesse explains that the girl with him is Grace, Mark's sister, and her niece. Ben seems pleased and allows them to stay. Meanwhile, Mark is chased by zombies and gets into a car that can start, but cannot move because its tire is stuck. Inside the house, Grace notices some strange equipment. Ben returns and shows his weapons, asking if they are ready for a blessing. From the shaking caused by the zombies, the car Mark uses eventually frees itself, but people targeting the vehicle open fire, and one bullet hits Mark. Inside the house, seeing Ben preparing something, Jesse tries to fight him, but Ben stops him. The man admits he is a former associate of Ben Clayton, who previously assisted some of his projects. Once the device is ready, the fake Ben presses a button, causing an explosion outside. Jesse seizes the chance to escape with Grace. At the same time, Mark arrives and joins them, and they flee together. At night, the injured Mark asks Jesse to promise he will take care of Grace. After saying goodbye, Mark departs forever. The next day, Jesse and Grace continue moving on foot. Not far away, Grace spots zombies, and Jesse tries to hold them off. As Jesse struggles, a man arrives and quickly kills the zombies. The man introduces himself as Hickok 45. He takes them to his house and teaches Jesse how to handle weapons properly. Suddenly, gunfire rings out from Hickok 45's nephew. Jesse needs a car to reach her mother, and after they show the vehicle, Jesse goes to pick up Grace. However, Grace is injured from the zombie attack. Jesse refuses to leave her behind because he promised Mark, and they escort the car together. During the trek, Jesse is forced to kill Grace after she turns into a zombie. Afterward, Jesse continues on, eventually entering the Atlanta area. Sometime later, in front of a building, Jesse faces more zombies. Inside, a woman named Tori quickly steps out and helps kill the zombies. Tori points a gun at Jesse, who explains that she works for Dr. Judith. Tori takes Jesse to view a recording. In the footage, Dr. Judith reveals that everyone is infected except Tori. Jesse cannot be infected because she has antibodies. Dr. Judith destroys all remaining vaccines, but gives Tori a box containing the original virus. With Jesse's antibodies and the virus, the appointed scientists will find a way to stop the outbreak. Tori advises Jesse to go to Washington, D.C., and escorts her there after clearing the zombies at the door. They set off on a motorcycle. Shortly after, in July 2021, scientists discover that Jesse's blood produces rare antibodies. Meanwhile, the government develops a secret weapon, originally designed to manipulate the weather, which is later adapted as a destructive agent and a strategy to distribute vaccines worldwide.